Hello everybody to my review of episode 13 of season 6, The Walking Dead, titled The Same Boat. And I wanted to preface this by saying I wanted to have this done earlier during the week, but I haven't really been feeling well and I have not been up to recording up until this point. And I'm still not totally feeling 100%. I've been coughing a lot lately, so excuse the quality of this video. It's not going to be super long, and I'm not going to be able to talk much, as I am doing two videos back to back, the review and the predictions, which I have a lot to say on next week's episode. I don't have as much to say on this past episode, but I will make it a standard type of review. I will cover all bases to the best of my ability, and hope that I get better soon so that I can make the videos as soon as possible, and I try and make them during the week when I can. Excuse me. Just bear with me. Sorry. So this was a follow-up episode to episode 12 exactly. Picked up right where it left off. Actually, it picked up even before episode 12 left off, where they showed Carol and Maggie in the woods. Carol killed the walker. Shortly after that is when they were ambushed. Carol shoots Donnie in the arm. Maggie goes to finish it, but Paula and Molly or Shella, I don't remember which one was near her. It was dark. Ambush her and basically get taken hostage. And then they kind of flash forward till the next day, and then they're looking through the binoculars to see what's going on. They see Primo getting taken down. That's when Paula called Milwaukee, put the guns down, and that's when they begin the negotiation. This episode just picked up right from there. And when she put it, that really, Rick can rationalize all he wants. That's not totally 100% fair trade. Two people for one. There's no way that they would go for that. They might take something else from Rick in exchange, so that sweetening the deal for them. But I honestly don't believe that they would have given up anything. That they would have given them up. I don't think they were gonna. They were not gonna make the deal. So, good for Carol and Maggie doing what they did, taking matters into their own hands. That was smart. That was great episode for the two big female characters in the show. Probably the two biggest. Yeah, they are the two biggest female characters in the show at this point. Two strongest, been around longest out of in the group. So, not to mention Carol is one of the remaining 5 left from season 1. So she's been around a while, and she's been through a lot. And this episode, she had those moments we really couldn't tell how genuine they were, but she was clearly affected by all of the things she's had to do, all the people she's had to kill. So she had almost like a mini crisis of conscience. She cuts herself in the rosary. She's asking for the cigarette. It's like, oh, she's gonna use that to escape. She's gonna do something. Maybe not that second, but so then you have Polly, who's not Polly. Sorry, Polly was the original name that I thought Paula. I thought Paula was Polly, and then revealed in this episode it's Paula. Molly, the woman who's smoking, she's basically dead. She has cancer or something. But There was some conversation, the "We Are All Negan" thing that popped up like twice, which that's interesting. I wanted to address that because there's a version of that in the comics that we are an extended. They say that they are an extension of Negan, etc. So that was a nice little twist on the comics. I like that. They talked about the men that Daryl blew up with RPG. Michelle's boyfriend was one of them. Maybe he was the leader. I'm not sure. The way they said it, it seemed like he was the guy who was doing all the talking, but could be anybody at this point. But it seemed like those people were reckless because of how the members of the Saviors in this episode would talk about them like reckless sons of bitches. Or I've only seen this episode once. Sorry, I meant to watch it again, but I just have not gotten around to it. It's been a very crazy week for me. Something along those lines, reckless. They're stupid or reckless, whatever, something like that. So they talked about that because Maggie had the conversation with Michelle. Was Frank your boyfriend? He's like, no, I heard the new one. Frank was my father. And I also wanted to address these people, these Saviors. They have protocol. They're smart. They're not. Yes, you could say the Hunter's Terminus had protocol because they were doing things in a certain order. They had to do. They knew what they were doing, but they weren't as organized as the Saviors are. The Saviors, they have, they're talking. Omega Channel, Savior down, talking to backup, talking to different groups, and they said they switched to Alpha Channel if another channel isn't clear. Which I had just rewatched episode 6 of the season when Daryl meets the people in the bird forest, Dwight. When the Saviors came through, all the men came through, they had mentioned switch to Alpha Channel when they were going out looking for Dwight. And it further cemented that those people back in episode 6, the first half of the season, they were the Saviors. I had suspected it all along, but this completely confirms it. They use the same code. We don't see any groups really using walkies that much, not anymore. So that's proof of that, so I thought that was interesting. Rigging Donnie to bite Molly, that was good. And then Maggie beating her. Very smart. Paula protecting Maggie from Donnie. That was interesting, and I'm not really sure. Was she protecting the hostage? Was she protecting the baby? Did she even care at all? Hard to say. These people really don't care much about anybody. So Donnie kind of lost it a little bit. Like he lost his cool. He was like, "Gotta kill these people," we're not making this trade. And then he started to beat up on Maggie. Carol tripped him up. And Paul took care of him. And wound up dying. He untwisted the spine on his arm. So he turned. They rigged him up to bite Molly. Then the end comes with Paula. Maggie raised a gun at her. Not Maggie, sorry, Carol. Doesn't shoot her. Tells her to just run, go, leave. Walker gets free, bumps into Carol, gun goes off. I believe it does hit Paula. They get into a scuffle. Shell gets into a fight with Maggie. Appears like she cut her stomach, but it looks like she cut just the shirt. It was a close call. And I was worried there for a second, but Carol shoots her. Then Paula's on the floor. Carol can't shoot her. They get into another altercation. Paula ends up impaled on one of the pipes that they had the walkers hooked up to, as it was sort of a defense mechanism so that people that they have captured there couldn't get out without potentially getting bit, as well as protecting people from the outside, that people would go in and could potentially get bit if they weren't careful. And then a walker eats her face and neck, and they later put her down as a walker. Which, that is my Z kill of the week, speaking of. Okay, now it comes time. A score, I believe I gave this one, I think it was a 9.5. I marked it down after the episode, but I believe I gave it a 9.5. Because it wasn't a bad episode, but it wasn't the best episode we had. It was sort of a filler episode that didn't really feel like a filler episode. But it was a very important episode. It shed a lot of light on the Saviors, which is why I can't knock it down to full point. For now, I'm gonna go over the top 5 moments of the episode. 5 is killing Paula and Molly and going through the escape. Yeah, I gave this episode a 9.5. I just wanted to check it really quick on my Facebook page. It was a 9.5. Okay, 5, killing Paula, Molly escape scene, awesome. 4, Carol's little potential crisis of conscience, because she hesitated a lot in this episode. She hesitated twice with Paula, which almost got her killed. She didn't kill Donnie in the beginning. She shot his arm, which she never misses, so it's going to be interesting. 3, Carol and Maggie just totally rocking it this episode. 2 of them having an empowering episode. 2, the We're All Negan thing. And one of the very last scenes in the episode where Carol and Maggie burnt the men in the kill floor. They let them go by, threw the match, lit them on fire, boom. Then they open the door and Daryl and Rick and the crew are there. And Daryl had a sweet moment that it's like, he asked Carol, are you okay? She's like, no. Gave her a hug. He's I think he's the only character who Carol can be like totally open up to. So they're not a couple, but they have a really strong bond. And then Rick foolishly executing that guy, I feel that was a poor move. Just because the guy said Negan, when he was asked who was Negan at the compound or was he here, at the place where the satellite dish was. Is he there or here? And the guy said both. I'm Negan. I want to have fun, blah, blah, all that. Rick just point blank shoots him in the face, kills him. Stupid. Stupid move. He could have potentially gotten more information out of him. And he fell for it. Seems like Rick maybe believes that was Negan. No, it's not Negan. It's been confirmed that Jeffrey Dean Morgan will be playing Negan, and we probably will not see him until the finale, which is going to be a tough one to get through. I've been telling everybody that. People who don't read the comics, I'm not spoiling it for you, but tough. It's going to be a tough probably the toughest toughest finale type episode since Herschel. So this one's kind of gone on a little longer than expected, so I'm going to leave this one here, and I will have this video up along with my predictions for tomorrow night's episode shortly after. Hey, it's Mike. Peace out.